அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். ஒரு சண்டே நாள் இவ்வளோ பேர் அவ்வளோ அமைதியாக டிசிப்ளின்டாக இருக்காங்கன்னு சொல்லி ஐ திங்க் இட் கோஸ் டு பிரசன்னா அண்ட் ஹிஸ் டீம் ஃபார் ஆர்கனைசிங் திஸ். ஐ எம் ஷுர் தே much more than branded this program. I have been seeing this for the last many years. Mr. Raj Kaladi, Mr. Ram, all the project managers that are here today, I'm extremely happy to be with you today morning. I generally don't work on a Saturday or Sunday, and 10 to 5:45 is all I work. But it was Nithya Karnadi who persisted, and Mr. Jawahar who went on calling me, saying that because Sundays are out, I mean, I'm generally under the control of my wife. I am what is it called? Henpecked. So today, with great difficulty, I've come. So you can imagine the kind of sacrifice I've made for all of you today. So I didn't actually, because the cyclone that has happened, that has kept us on the toes yesterday also. So yesterday night, I was at this place at around 11 o'clock in the night, because we were dealing with the Airtel, Vodafone, and because all the towers have fallen down. Almost 1,000 towers have fallen down. Lots of issues with the towers, not just falling down. Radio issues are there, electricity issues are there, diesel issues are there. Some of the towers are literally down. So this is one of the exceptions I have made to my thing because of crisis. And we all work in project schedules, but crisis is a different thing to handle altogether. So I might get a call anytime, and without telling you, I'll just walk out of the stage. But otherwise, we all have this penchant for using the mic continuously, because we love our own voices. So if you tell me you're bored, you can just put up your hand. I'll just walk back and sit on my chair there. But I didn't prepare a presentation for you. I was just thinking, you're looking at project management and scheduling and tasking and stuff like that. And you have a start time and an end time. And I was looking at how government generally functions. So we have all of this in government. You have a political leadership. Can I see that slide there? Okay, I can see it here. So we have political leadership. You have bureaucracy, paperwork, departments working compartmentally, overlap, outdated procedures, transaction costs. That's a euphemism for a bribe and a harassed citizen. So like all project managers, we also deal with human beings. So this is right from the peon up to the boss. So everybody is a human being. So we have to deal with everybody. Managing a boss is also a task. And we don't have such beautiful offices like you have in your private sector. We also have offices, and we are famous for this, right? So you come to government offices, you will be running after these files, and people say that file inge irukke, finally you don't get and we are always not on time, unlike all of you. And we don't get the best like you do. So I was looking at project management and realized that you have the power to hire and fire. The private sector does that, right? So whereas we get teams which are there for lifetime. So it comes with a lifetime warranty. So you have to deal with these kinds of people who have different sets of skills. So if you look at a 100-meter race, even if Usain Bolt is running that race, you'll find that the best in the world are running with him or after him or along with him. But there's a significant time latency between the different people. At the photo finish that you can see, there'll be different times. So different people have different skill sets and different timings, etc. So we need to deal with all that as a project manager. And we are always on telephone. So IA is always busy on the telephone call, and we are always in meetings. So if you come to Secretariat or in any other room, IA is in a meeting. And we are happy as it goes, angry, clueless, frustrated, but I'm sure we look like this to all of you. Anyway, what happens is we get a frustrated employee and an unhappy citizen. So I have a panacea for this, which is not computerization, right? And it goes for project management skills as well. It's not about computerization. And some of it has been mentioned here, and I think Prasanna was talking about it. It's not about computerization. Many years back, people thought that computerization will change governance. It's not that. And you'll also realize that the one important differentiator between a transformation and an incremental change is what I call leadership. And the panacea is not computerization, it's not anything else, it's just leadership. And I have a theory called IIT of transformational leadership. I call it, if you have integrity, innovation, and technology, you'll become a transformation leader. So unfortunate problem, at least in government, I find is that if you have integrity, you don't have innovation. If you have innovation, you don't have technology. If you have innovation technology, integrity is very poor. Now, to get all this together in government is very difficult. I'm sure in private sector also you have this, the HR managers and they are a separate group themselves. They don't have great integrity. I mean, generally it's said that, they are a different power by themselves. But this, if you have all three together, you have what I call a transformational leader. But to become all that, this is my experience, and I'll go by what I do on a daily basis, is that you have to be extremely organized. So the only thing equal to every human being on earth is not water, is not air, it is not oxygen, it's not food, it's not... The only thing equal to President Obama, you, me, the man on the street is the 24 hours. Correct? That's the only thing. And as we speak, the time is just ebbing away, and our lives are going towards one destination. So how we use the 24 hours will determine how effective we are. So I keep saying, people keep talking about having a great life. And no great life, no project manager, nothing can be on time if you're not organized. So it starts with, waking up itself. So I don't know how many of you wake up at 5 o'clock. So I have this theory. If you wake up at 5, you will succeed. If you wake up at 6, you may succeed. If you wake up at 7, you will not succeed. Okay, now, that's not a truth. There are people who are sleeping all the time and are very successful. But if you want to schedule your projects and tasks, then I think waking up at 5 o'clock is one of the best timings. At the Brahma Muhurtam, they say, waking up and doing a little puja, whatever you want, and then going out for a walk or a jog will be extremely useful. If you put your earphones at the time and you're not walking on the road, somebody might hit you from behind. If you can walk on the footpath or something, that 1 hour of jogging or 1 hour of walking, plus if you have any skills in sports like badminton or table tennis or yoga or whatever, I think this will put you in extremely good, state of mind for the whole day up to around 10:30 when you go to sleep. And getting skills along the way is extremely important. So the problem with all of us is that we stayed in our work. We don't learn. So is it possible to improve the self? That's the essential question that all of us should be asking. And the question is, are you a very incremental leader? Are you a transformation leader? So if you look at the photographs of Singapore, this is the photograph of Singapore in the 1950s and 60s. Can you imagine that this is Singapore in 1960s? It is the worst country in the world. There is mafia. British didn't want it. The Malaysians never ran away from the place. It was full of mafia. But one man thought that it's possible to transform. So this was the state of Singapore in the 1950s and 60s, and they just transformed it. This is a presentation I gave to somebody earlier. So what I'm trying to communicate to you is that we have to think 360 degrees, and is it possible to flip the whole thing on the coin, on its head, and see a total transformational change. So the first thing to be doing for that is this 24 hours capsule. If you can organize it extremely well, I think I do it very well. After 5:45, I don't work. 10 to 5:45 is extremely good time to work. You can organize your file work. You can do your tasking and meetings, etc. in those times. I have an interesting proposition for you. See, most of our meetings are lengthy, isn't it? And we only talk, and others hear or listen. They pretend to listen. They are the things are going off their head all the time. In government also we have meetings and we minute those meetings, isn't it? So the meeting minutes goes like this. The officer came, he sat down, he smiled, he took a cup of tea and smiled again, and then, it goes like that. It's not actionable minutes. So many of our minutes, if you look, it's very lengthy. We search for the place where I don't know how it happens in the private sector, but you send emails, I understand. I have a different system. I followed that. That's why I'm able to do 100 different things at the same time. My minutes are different. I say serial number, issue, discussion, decision, who will do it by what date. It's very simple. And I convert that in an app now. So the app is getting into the market shortly. You could buy it. I'll be very happy if you could buy it. But the point I'm trying to say is that telling a person that, or getting from that person what is the time schedule by which that work will be done, will be extremely essential to the project success. And leadership, by definition, if you ask me, that L would stand for good listening skills. So if you're a good listener, I mean, when I go into an organization, and IAS officers go into, we get transferred every now and then. So we go into an organization, and you'll realize that even the peon knows better than you, right, about the organization. So it's better to listen to even the peon and driver and everybody. So in Pumpur, I was there for the Handicrafts Development Corporation the last 4 years before I joined as IT Secretary. Of course, I was IT Secretary in 2011. So I was listening to the driver. So we have this think tank, which includes from the peon to the CMD. So the driver gave a brilliant idea. And actually, I converted into a 3.5 crore project. Government didn't give me money. I took a loan from Nambad. And you can see Pumpur corporate office is one of the best in the world. At least I claim like that. But that's the driver's idea. But it's a brilliant idea because he knows the nook and corner of the place. And he had certain ideas which was brilliant. But, generally these lower level people don't get a chance with the top management or the top boss, whoever it is. Generally in project teams, you don't get the drivers and OAs and all. They don't even exist because you don't drive, you drive your own vehicles, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that listening capability, listening skill is extremely important for project success. If you can listen, it'll be great. The next thing would be communication skills. That goes without saying. It's part of the project management skills. And negotiating. And negotiating and communicating are extremely important. How do you set time schedules for even your presentations? Like I'm doing right now. I don't know how or when it will stop until you put up your hands and say, enough, boss. And, but we need to have extremely good skills in communicating to our people. So leadership is all about communicating a compelling aspiration. How do you tell your teams that this is the vision and this is the task and these are the goals that we need to achieve within the constraints of budget and time? And to say it with a smile on the face, with a sense of humor, etc., would determine the project success. I've seen lots of people getting very tense when a project is given to them and extremely harsh on their subordinates. If you're project managers, let me tell you, the best method would be to keep your team in good spirit. Never allow them to overwork. Give them incentives. Call them, have a cup of tea, but keep continuously communicating with them. Hi, Satya. Please sit. Yeah. So it's communication, then negotiation, then tasking, then arriving at the imponderables, the risks, as it were. Many of the things are. But the most important thing I would say is how not to give a subpar performance. Generally we all stick to the time schedule so that the product is delivered. But at the end of it, if the product or service is below par, your quality suffers, your brand suffers. So you need to come back to the organization and say sorry, etc. We didn't do our best. So, the leadership in the last P would stand for passion. How do you be a passionate leader? L would stand for listening skills. E would stand for empathy, ethics. A would stand for agenda. No personal agenda. Absolutely no personal agenda except the absolute common weal or the interests of the shareholders or the citizens. D would be for direction. How to give a direction to the team, because you are moving in this way and that way, but the leader can give a direction. E again would be for, I don't know if I forgot, R would stand for responsibility. Are you a good leader? I've seen many IAS officers, the moment a crisis happens, they'll start becoming tense, they'll pass the tension to you, they'll shout at everybody, they lose their cool. The important thing is, at crisis, you should be like the Titanic captain. You should be the first to come into the crisis and the last to go out. If you die in the process, that's okay. But you have saved the ship or saved your denizens, as it were. So leadership is about taking responsibility. And S would be for that sphere of influence. We all have a sphere of influence. A barber has a sphere of influence. If you can keep that world class and excel in that, be the best barber in the world. There's a guy called, I don't know whether you know him. He's one of the best auto drivers in the world today. He's there on WhatsApp. I don't know whether you've seen him. I called him and asked Honorable Chief Minister to honor him in the Connect program. Amazing work he does in his auto rickshaw. That's the best place. So we'll say we can do this for India, that for India, nothing you can do for India. Only the India is circumscribed by your sphere of influence. So if you are a dentist, the dentistry is your sphere of influence. Become the best dentist. And you're not actually doing it for yourself. That's one of the things that you should realize. The whole day we have come up dressed and going back, 90% of the time we are doing for somebody else. Please understand, realize that. And if you can put your heart, soul, and mind, and lungs, and liver into it, so much the better. You look at your own day-to-day schedule. None of the time you're doing anything for yourself. At the end of it, you might get a salary, you might get a smile, you might get a promotion, an incentive. But the happiness that you can, pass downstairs will be amazing. So, S is for your sphere of influence. How do you expand your sphere of influence? Your sphere of influence, let's say, is 100 meters. How do you make it kilometers and miles and years? That happens only when you're absolutely on time, truthful, ethical, all these things. I would be for inspiration. How do you inspire people to definitive action? And P obviously stands for passion. So the leadership would cover all the project management skills. The word leadership itself will cover all the project management skills. I was thinking I'll show you some snippets of what we have done in Pumpuhar. And Pumpuhar is an organization, it's a sleepy organization. Generally no IAS officer would want to go there. So I was posted there, post-Harvard I came there, and it was doing around 30 crores in 42 years. So what we did was, we did the entire, we had a look at the whole organization. We have around 70,000 artisans. So how do we deliver things to people? So if you look at, so we did on administration, marketing, customer, everything became online, completely online. So file movement, we used to take 30 to 40 days for a production or a procurement decision. So my manager in Calcutta would say, I want this Ganesha of this particular dimension, etc. Customer is asking, for taking that decision, I will take 40 days. We brought it to under 3 hours because the entire thing became on an ERP. Everything was online. Monitoring, reviews, if I had to call people down from Calcutta, it will take time. We would review on FaceTime. I gave iPads to around 50 people. So they review. Accounting was on Tally. Billing completely became online. There's an app from which I can even see even ₹1 transaction happening. We created an e-repository, still a work in progress, tnartisan.com. 2 lakh web pages we are creating for around 2 lakh artisans. 70,000 is what is accounted for. I think there are a large number of artisans. 1 web page per artisan because we deal with a lot of middlemen. So these are innovative solutions. You need to bring in innovations into your system to ensure without hurting other people. Then we started e-commerce, a smartphone app is there. We brought in virtual reality. Actually, I'm waiting for that. My successor, I don't know how much time it's going to take. But we wanted to create India's first virtual reality Pumpuhar showroom, which means put your headgear, you can see the showroom, you can pick up the items and buy it there self. So technology, is an imperative for a project manager. So we do 101 things. In fact, right now I am holding additional charges of 9 different posts. In addition to being IT secretary, I pleaded with chief secretary, please leave me off these few. I'm a human being after all. Please leave me. But we have to manage because there are constraints. Government doesn't have too many officers. So social media, all these things we did. And if you see the Chennai airport, the entire interior is done by us. So when I told my team whether we can do the airports, they all laughed because we had 24 locations. We are doing through showrooms, exhibitions, that's it. So can we do the airports? They all laughed. But this is what I call the conspiracy of thoughts. A week later, senior lady architect, she walks into my room and says, Sir, airport allame panlame, she said. I said, oh my God, my own thoughts. After 1 week, the director of the airport himself walks in and says, Sir, can we do something together? Just imagine 3 different people think about a particular thing and that happening. So if your thoughts are pure, you want to do for the absolute common weal, everybody will conspire to help you. the Almighty, the heavens, the Athens, everything will help. So, and Chennai Airport, Tirupati, Trichy, Madurai, Coimbatore, Pondicherry, Salem, all these airports interiors are done by us. We have moved from 31 crores. This year, we should be touching 100 crores. That's the kind of change. That's the kind of change. And I'm saying we are still scratching the surface. In Pumpahar, I can actually do a business of around 5,000 crores. That's a market. We're doing with Ennur Port. We're done with Chennai Airport, Tirupati Airport. I'm not able to show it because we've done Trill Ramanujanam IT Park, Secretariat, Southern Railway. We've done a lot of special projects. So you can see how I do this is through that serial number, issue, discussion, decision, who will do it by what date. Very simple. This is a small team, 4 officers, 30 staffs, and rest of them are artisans. Standardization, small things we did. And we won the National E-Governance Award. We won the Scotch Smart Governance Platinum Award. The thing about transformation I was telling is I was in Indian medicine and homeopathy. And this is the look of the office which I joined. I was here for 5 months, and I went to Harvard. How do you work in this kind of atmosphere? I keep asking government, why can't you make government officers look better than Infosys? So we did around 33 different innovations during my 5 months here, including making the Honorable Chief Minister announce 55 crores for Indian medicine and homeopathy, which is hitherto unheard of. We used to get around 1 crore a year from the government. I made the CM announce 55 crores, and I didn't do any work. As usual, I put a think tank. It's called Ayush, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy. I put 5 think tanks, sat back, heard the private sector, heard my officers, heard the NGOs, and put that into a PowerPoint presentation, made it, literally forced the finance secretary to hear us, and the CM announced it. And this office, the transformation I'm trying to tell you is, it's possible to think and transform. In government, they say, Enga Padam. I'm saying the money is floating all around. You just need to have the intention. So this is what I left when I left the organization. And every office I do this. So that gives a lot of satisfaction because ultimately your team, the project teams are working in very bad atmosphere. So you should take care of your subordinates, is what I'm trying to tell you. Even if they are sitting in nice cubicles and workstations, they have issues. A lady will have a problem with a child at home. She might be thinking half the time about her child. Is it possible to get into that issue at the project management side? This is my corporate office in Pumpahar. I added 2 more floors, no money from government. Okay, this is the idea of my driver. It's completely world class. Then we put a craft cafe. This is a place which was lying with waste for 40 years. Convert to a nice hotel. It's called the Pumpahar Craft Cafe. Again, another craft cafe in Mamalapuram. These are places. So, something I'm talking about innovation. How do you bring innovation into your thinking? This is one of the best stadia in the country in Krishnagiri. If you go to Krishnagiri, 4,000 to 5,000 people do here. So what happens is that government gives you 50 lakhs if you collect 50 lakhs from public. So my predecessor had done that, and stadium was up and ready. But a lot of space was available. So when I joined in 2006, so we asked corporates like you do the work, we'll say, thank you, that's all. So around 2 crores work we brought inside. We said, thank you, that's all. But how to manage it was a problem. There's a huge infrastructure, no money for management. So again, innovation. So I made 100 personal calls to people like you. Very rich people. I'm sorry, I don't know whether you're rich or poor, but you look rich at least. But I made those 100 personal calls. And when collector makes a call, everybody listens. After collectorship, they say, but during collectorship, sir, how are you? I said, tomorrow there's a meeting at 4 o'clock, come at 4 p.m., but come with your checkbook. They all came, and 1 hour I collected 1 crore. And I put it in a fund called Fund in Perpetuity. Fund in Perpetuity. That is, the fund doesn't lapse, you take only the interest portion. So 60,000 to 70,000 rupees they get a month. So we had 1 landscapist, 20 gardeners, 7 coaches, and right now they're sitting on 1 crore 30 lakhs. This was done in 2006. One of the best stadiums in the country, 6,000 to 7,000 people. Last month I was there. It's teeming with the population. So innovation. And then the people said they want to put another 1 crore. I put it in the GH Krishnagiri. You go to GH Krishnagiri, it's one of the most cleanly kept GHs in the whole country because money is important. I'm telling the corporates in Chennai, in OMR, when they come to me and say that OMR needs this, that, I'm saying 400 companies, put 10 lakhs each. You can raise 400 into 10 is how much? 4,000? Is it crores or 400 crores, I think? 400, I don't know the mathematics. 400 into 10 lakhs is how much? No. It's not 40 crores. 400 crores. So if you put 400 crores into a kitty, you get around 3 to 4 crores a month. You can make it better than Shanghai. And I can assist. So now they're listening to me slowly, but they're saying we have problems. I'm saying you write off 10 lakhs. TCS is sitting on 23,000 crores of profit, hard cash. 10 lakhs is nothing for you. Just write it off. Say that it's all because of a person called Santhosh Babu and you put the blame on me. But you have 400 crores, which will be a fund in perpetuity, which will be there for 101 years, 1,000 years. And the interest alone can take care of that OMR and make it look better than Shanghai or Manhattan. I'm not saying for a moment that government will not do the work. But government, it takes its own processes. It will take time. It will go through a lot of other issues. So whereas if you have a fund, I can tie up with the contractors, I can tie up with the government agencies to get the clearances so that you can do it well. So ideas, you should do innovations. I have around 250 plus innovations like this. Unfortunately, my introduction did not say any of that. I feel a bit bad about that. So you get all this, these are the IT parks I created, certificates. And this is interesting. Again, how to bring back out of school children. Innovation, I'm talking about innovation. So today I have a scheme, is BAACK actually. I keep it live because it's interesting. You can track every out of school child. Around 10,000 children we brought back. Whatever they ask, we give. It's an interesting idea. Another day I'll speak. Another innovation which we did was the rural BPO. How can you run a BPO in a village? So now it has become policy. We have around 6,000 seats in Chennai, Tamil Nadu itself. I wrote the rural BPO policy for the government of Tamil Nadu. So this was done in 2006 in a village in Hosur. How do you convert this into so this is a Manamagal room. How do you convert into a world-class BPO where 10th standard dropouts work? These are 10th standard dropouts working with a Fortune 500 company called US Allstate Insurance. I'm talking about 2006-07. And they were earning the same skills. You will have to pay 25,000 rupees in Chennai or Bangalore. But let's say in a village like this, I need to pay them 6,000 to 7,000 rupees. And these are girls who will otherwise be abused, disused, misused, you name it. The girls should never be at home. They should be studying or working, and they should be economically independent. This one take home I have to say. If India has to progress, our girl children should all be doing 10th standard, plus 2, degree, get a job in government, get a job in private, or be an entrepreneur. And then only marry. If you are not an equal partner to the man, you're always a slave. Never be a slave. You're born independent. So, but unfortunately, many of our girls, and we go by traditions and we still enslave our women. Nowhere, they are the people who make us, who give birth to us, and we have to respect them. And so these are the girls who would otherwise be abused, disused in the villages. So we put them into BPOs. This is another, so if you can see before and after, they're actually done in 52 hours. So you can see that. Then the government was interested, the American government was interested, they came. So this is again, this is the Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. Then this is done by Rotary actually. Actually, Dr. Kalam called and came, and he spent a whole day with us, an amazing man. So innovation, I'm trying to put the thought of innovation in your mind. During the process of your work, there are n number of points at which you can innovate and reduce time. See, for example, all of you are volunteers. I was told by Mr. Ram that we are all volunteering for this. Otherwise, you are all working as top executives in HCL and Infosys and stuff like that. I have actually created an app for volunteers. It's called Volunteer, VOLNDEAR, VOLNDEAR. You can download it. It's getting into the next version. It happened during the Chennai floods because the volunteers are very interesting animals. Their volunteerism will be for a few hours, few days, few minutes. Beyond that, you can't sustain it. It's very impossible to do that. Whereas, if you can capture the energy of volunteers, I'm talking about the young boys and girls who are wanting to do something, we can have an app like that where, you can go through 2 filters. You want an area filter and you want a skill filter, and one click it goes an in-app notification. So if you are wanting a blood donation camp, you need to only approach people in a particular area with a particular skill and you can have them. That's the app I have made. The point I'm trying to say is that, is it possible to innovate in the process of your project management? So, if you do all this, then you will have a satisfied clientele. But I always end with this, never take your work home or home to work. Please go home at 6 o'clock. If you're good project managers, go home, enjoy, because we are all like mobile phones. We need to recharge and come back fresh the very next day. Have no personal agenda. In the question, your look should be to your shareholders or to your citizens or to your nation. Nothing more, nothing less. We get a good breakfast, good lunch, good dinner. We get good set of clothes. We have personal hygiene. That's enough for us. But when you go up the corporate ladder, don't look up. Look down and see how many people are downstairs waiting for an opportunity like you had. They are the people that we need to serve. They are our own people. And I keep saying, and I mean, a lot of work that we do in IT is about governance, and we try to ensure, it's already 10, and your thing should be India first, whether you're a corporate or a government or an NGO, your thought should be about the nation. And patriotism is not about, when Sachin Tendulkar hits a 6 and our emotions go up. I'm sorry, that's not patriotism. That is instinctive adulation. Your patriotism is when you love your people all the time, across barriers. You take out the 100 million people out of India, and can you love the subcontinent, physical part? No. It's because of people that we are patriotic. Patriotism is about people. Respect them. Love them like God. Each person is important. The poorest is important. The rich is important. Everybody in the scale is important. Ultimately, we are all trying to reach one national highway. Right now, we are in different national highways. So you look at this photograph. I keep my speeches, I'll end with this always, because this is the essential message I try to communicate. See, look at this room. This would have been built by somebody like him, right? But the moment this room is completed, they have no access to it, right? You look at our roads are being built by poor people. The moment the roads are complete, they don't have a bicycle to ply. You look at farmers, they give us 3-4 square meals, but they commit suicide. But you look at my artisans, they create such beautiful items, they are in penury. So in a sense, the poor is actually cross-subsidizing our happiness. So if we can do everything for them, they are not really great people because they don't go through project management, right? They're tough lives. If you go to the village level and see, I'm sure all of you do that, and some of you come from that also area. There are aspirations they have, but they don't know how to reach there. So all our work, your work, mine, government's work, private sector, NGO, should be to ensure that the last mile is with us. Then only we can build a great India. All our work will go to naught if we have a great life and others don't have. So that's the essential message which I want to communicate to all of you. And let me thank all of you for your time. Nitya, thank you for calling me. I hope I have not bored you. If anybody is falling down asleep, that's what he said. Sit back, sleep and relax. Sit back, relax and enjoy. That's what he said. I hope you you didn't sleep. I hope I have communicated some messages. I hope it was relevant to project management. Some of these life skills that we go through in government and in private are essential life skills for building this nation. We are all here to build our nation brick by brick, help those poor people come up in life. So that one day, we can say that we are the best in the world. The US, the Singapore, the British are not the best. We Indians are the best. God bless you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. As a token of appreciation, we would like to present a memento and spot event photograph in memory of the conference to Dr. Santhosh Babu. May I request Mr. Syed, Vice President Technology, PMI Chennai Chapter, to do the honor.